And it's talking about how Mr. Reagan in 1987 vehemently against tariffs, making the comparison to the concerns and the depth of the crisis in the Depression in the 1930s, and adding that heavy tariffs made that worse. And the 1930s is very apt because a lot of our commentators and economists on this channel have made the point that actually the tariff levels in the United States now are comparable to the levels we saw in the 1930s. Ronnie Reagan at the time is saying, look, I'm going to have to put some semiconductor tariffs on for the Japanese manufacturers because this is one area where we do believe we have to have more cooperation from the Japanese, and that's what he did in 87. But he was making the point vehemently, he does not like tariffs. And I've used it when I've been talking previously as well. But Mr. Trump getting upset about it. In fact, the Ronald Reagan Foundation saying it misrepresents the audio address. Personally, I think it's unambiguous. Please, all of you, actually, do some homework while you're watching Squawk Box. Dig it out. Just Google or whatever.
Maybe during a break.
Or during a break, yeah. Or maybe during another show, because... You know. But just have a look at it. What Reagan is saying on tariffs in 1987, I think it's unambiguous. So, but again, going back to 2025, why is Trump so? You know, he's doing incredibly well on many issues. I don't understand why he's so thin-skinned on this one issue. Doug Ford has really put, because it wasn't actually Carney's government, did it? I think it was Ontario that put this out. And Doug Ford, we know, loves a battle. Mr. Trump loves a battle. They love going toe-to-toe with each other. They are big, big characters. I can't understand why the whole trade conversation has hit a wall on the back of one ad campaign.
Yeah, no, I thought I had the same question. You know, what is it about this ad that has gotten underneath President Trump's skin so much? So I watched the ad this morning, and it's actually quite civil. When you think about something that might have really irked President Trump, you might think it's really controversial. But when you listen to it, it's actually quite civil, which I think may be the problem. Here you have Ronald Reagan.
Would you say it's very Canadian, very civil?
Yeah, it is. It's very civil and it's very sensible. It comes across really sensibly, which I think therein lies the problem, that Ronald Reagan is an icon for the Republican Party. And if you have an icon speaking quite sensibly, negatively talking quite sensibly about President Trump's tariffs, then the impact that could have could arguably be greater than if it were some sort of outlandish, controversial take. So I think the civility of it is actually part of the problem here.
Yeah, I can't dispute any of what you just said. I can't really add to anything either. I think it's I like a lot of people. I lionize Ronald Reagan in many, many ways, and many of his policies as well. And I can't see the problem here as well.
I think that's the problem, that a lot of people do. A lot of Republicans do really love Ronald Reagan. They think of him as an iconic president. So here you have him
after
out
the
there.
chaos of the 1970s, to be fair, vodka wasn't Reagan's pick, which is always the thing I always find very fascinating. It was Mr. Carter's pick, President Carter's pick as well. So yeah, so vodka came in actually on Carter's watch, but obviously what he did was mostly effect during the 1980s. Look, I mean, Thatcher, Reagan, a lot of people are harking back. Do you know, in this country as well, the most popular prime minister post-war, or certainly in the last 50 years, is coming up as Margaret Thatcher, even for people who never lived under Margaret Thatcher as well, because of what she represented, rather than potentially of how divisive she was at the time as well. And so people are harking back to a time where you had strong leaders, clear policies, and strong economic results. Yeah,
so Ronald Reagan's impact, his legacy living on beyond him, and fascinating to think that President Trump sees him as a potential threat, even though this is just, this is voice clips from many years ago. In terms of where this goes next, just one thing to flag for viewers, we are expecting President Trump to meet with his Canadian counterpart, or they're likely to see each other anyway next week, because both leaders are heading to Asia for these key summits. So we certainly could get more on this story in the next couple of weeks.